Is Liver King natty?
Do you see how fucking little my fucking legs are?
You've never taken steroids.
The answer to that is no.
Primals, I'm making this video to apologize. Yes, I've done steroids, and yes, I am on steroids, monitored and managed by a trained hormone clinician. I've been on several podcasts, and when asked if I've ever taken steroids, I've always said no. I don't touch this stuff, not gonna touch this stuff, never touch the stuff. That was a lie.
The Liver King, also known as Brian Johnson, is a social media influencer and entrepreneur. He was born in San Antonio, Texas on April 7th, 1977. Brian grew up in Texas and has repeatedly stated that when he was younger, he was nothing like he is today. He used to be sad and weak, often getting bullied at school. A tough moment in Brian's life was when his father died. It's unclear exactly when that happened, but Brian was still relatively young and hadn't had the chance to get to know his dad better. From that moment on, Brian lived with his mother in San Antonio and later attended the John Marshall High School in Leon Valley, a small city to the northwest side of San Antonio. Today, Brian is better known as the Liver King, a social media influencer and TikToker with millions of followers across TikTok and Instagram. Anyone who's followed Brian for some time has noticed that he doesn't bring up his birth name and insists on being known as the Liver King. According to some sources, he refuses to respond to Brian, and one likely explanation is that he associates the name with his former, weaker self. It looks like childhood trauma can affect even the seemingly strongest people out there. The Liver King's life began to change when he discovered weight training in middle school. His mother's boyfriend at the time encouraged him, and he started his lifting journey with a simple bench and some free weights. So Brian started lifting, mostly teaching himself as he went along, and he gradually fell in love with the activity. Soon enough, Brian began to see results from his hard efforts, and everything changed when one of his classmates called him Marky Mark. In case you're unfamiliar, Marky Mark is the former stage name of Hollywood actor Mark Wahlberg. At the time, he was one of the most well-known fitness dudes, often doing photo shoots for Calvin Klein. As you can imagine, having someone compare his physique to that of Mark Wahlberg served as a huge motivator, deepening Brian's love for weight training. More importantly, he realized that he was no longer the butt of jokes and the object of bullies. Other men wanted to look like him and envied his physique. Of course, girls began to notice Brian too. The transformation of the Liver King has been a remarkable one to say the least. This was not just a transformation of his appearance, but one where he changed as a person in so many ways. Johnson describes at one point how he did not have a single friend, that he had no concept of self-worth. This left Johnson dejected and scared, as he often found himself punched, kicked, and pummeled on a regular basis. According to the Liver King, this went on for years, and with no father to help guide him, his entire life had turned into a hellhole. Instead of letting the challenges and burdens of life tear him down, Brian became motivated to change. He explained that he took ownership of the demons that were troubling him in life, worked out, and imposed his own will to better himself. This was not just a physical transformation, however. The Liver King explains that he is in the best shape of his life, and he gives much credit for accepting ancestral living. Johnson explains that he started putting back into his diet and life the things that the modern world left out. This meant his entire diet changed, focusing on eating raw animal liver, protein shakes, bone marrow, and egg yolks. But ancestral living meant more than just a change in diet. It meant a change in philosophy about his life. He focused on doing things that would uplift him and edify himself so that he had a chance for success. As he put it, this meant becoming an evolutionary hunter, the unrelenting fighter, the serial ancestral entrepreneur. Instead of being fearful and running away, Johnson took ownership of the challenges he faced. This meant running straight towards his demons, confidently believing that he could overcome the many troubles he had met in his life. This created the most crucial change of heart he had developed. That was that he wanted to live. After finishing high school, Brian enrolled at Texas Tech University, TTU, where he earned a biochemistry degree. Later, he began attending medical school, but dropped out before orientation was over. The exact reason for that is unknown. Brian then started working at a pharmaceutical company where he made good money. This allowed him to make enough money to enjoy more leisure time in the form of outdoor sports, such as snowboarding. On one such vacation in 2004, Brian met his future wife, Barbara, who is now commonly known as the Liver Queen. The pair married later and had 2 sons, Rad and Stryker. Fittingly, the two are referred to as the Savage Liver Boys and often appear in the Liver King's videos on social media. After getting married, Brian and Barbara opened a dentist practice that became quite successful, but the two later moved on to establishing a supplements line. Now that we have some background and know a few facts about the Liver King and his family, let's talk about what makes the man so fascinating. Brian chose to go down his current path because of his 2 sons. According to various sources and the Liver King, the 2 boys often got sick during their childhood and had to go to the hospital frequently. Illnesses were the primary reason, but Rad and Stryker also suffered from various allergies. Their health issues drove Brian to read Nourishing Traditions, the cookbook that challenges politically correct nutrition, and The Diet Dictocrats by Sally Fallon. The book had an impact on Brian because he applied some of the knowledge found within in an effort to help his family and lead a better life himself. According to him, they cut out processed foods, liquid calories, seed oils, and similar. The family adopted a whole foods approach, mainly consuming liver and bone marrow. When picking what foods to eat, they often ask themselves, is this ancestral? If yes, they would add it to their nutrition. If not, they would move on to healthier foods. With their new approach to eating, the 2 sons saw significant improvements in health and were no longer frequent patients at their local hospital. Parents were also adamant about making lifestyle changes for themselves and began leading a radically different lifestyle from their friends and family. As time passed, Brian and Barbara grew even more interested in ancestral living and looked for other ways to improve their health, well-being, and energy levels. Well, one would think that eating raw meat and liver is enough, but that isn't the case for the Johnsons. The desire to lead a better life led Brian and his wife to develop a set of principles and guidelines, now known as the 9 Ancestral Tenets. According to sources, Brian had led the ancestral lifestyle for many years before deciding to share his message with the world. With the help of a social media consulting company, the Liver King went to New York and began posting about his life. It took a while to understand what the Liver King actually did, and he didn't enjoy making videos at first. Eventually, Brian and his consulting team developed the winning formula, and he gained a considerable following seemingly overnight. His unique style sets the Liver King apart from many other influencers. He routinely posts videos where he puts his body in extreme conditions, eats raw meat, and even participates in simulated hunts. Most recently, the Liver King was involved in a controversy where another YouTuber showed emails in which Brian described as steroid use. His cycle included a variety of drugs and hormones, including winstrol, testosterone, nandrolone, and omnitrope, a type of human growth hormone. The Liver King posted an apology video soon after being exposed, admitting to his steroid use. As mentioned, the Liver King spent much of the last 20 years teaching the benefits of eating naturally, returning to ancestral roots, and using ancestral supplements to reach fitness and spiritual goals. Working with his wife, Johnson created a series of supplements focused on proteins, vitamin D3, and an electrolyte mineral complex geared toward helping supply the nutrients and minerals a person needs to return to their ancestral roots. He also began creating a series of YouTube videos showing the workout regimen one should follow to reach their physical and mental goals. The Liver King and his wife frequently displayed their incredible physiques in videos, demonstrating the transformation from both. Their sons were also prominently depicted in the videos, showing how they had overcome their physical ailments early in life to become strong, empowered young men. One can visit the Liver King website to find the supplements and dietary additives that the YouTube sensation provides. He explains on the site that the use of these supplements not only improve one's nutritional balance and physical performance, but also provides a brain boost and support for the adrenal gland while also boosting the immune system. The Liver King created a significant following on YouTube, earning more than 250,000 subscribers on YouTube and nearly 2 million followers on Instagram. He created dozens of videos showing workout techniques and teaching about eating following his methodology. He also showed videos depicting him performing other types of ancestral activities, such as eagle hunting. He truly had become an internet sensation. The Liver King had grown to an unbelievable level of popularity, especially considering that his childhood was fraught with peril, agony, and sadness. It would not have been surprising to see Johnson headed in an entirely different direction in his life. But he had overcome the challenges and had risen to heights that even he could not have imagined as a boy. However, that all came crashing down in November when it was revealed through a series of emails that Johnson had been spending over $11,000 a month on supplements and hormones to help provide him with his physique. Johnson took to YouTube to apologize for his transgressions. He explained that the steroid use was rooted in self-esteem issues, and that he worked vigorously at the gym to ensure that it was not just the steroids that were supplying him with his new bulk. In fact, he added in the video that the hormonal placements were used as much to replace what was being used during workouts as they were for helping to increase his size. The revelation of steroid use also brought a series of other unfounded, even ridiculous accusations against the Liver King. Some speculated that he had abdominal muscle implants added to his body through a surgical procedure, something that Johnson refuted. Most importantly, he acknowledged he had fallen short. He apologized to the millions of fans who watched his videos and supported him through his rise on social media, expressing his deepest appreciation for those who followed and enjoyed his posts. While many have forgiven Johnson for his shortcomings, not everyone has been so understanding. Some were outraged by his revelations and acknowledgement that he had lied about the steroid use. The Liver King had long professed that his mass and success at the gym came solely through hard work and the use of his ancestral eating formula. That was clearly proven to be a lie. Some have turned to YouTube and other social media platforms to rip the social media star. They've attacked him and expressed their outrage at his fraudulent claims. In December, one disgruntled fan even filed a $25 million class action suit against Johnson, claiming that he had fraudulently supported his supplements and dietary plan as a means to reach a similar physique. This was not a legend conning of customers who purchased the products, believing they could find the same type of natural means to reach their physical goals. Millions of fans have been betrayed by the Liver King. Johnson admitted that not only he had used steroids in the past, but was still using them up until the allegations were revealed. In fact, in his December 1 apology, he explained that he was still using steroids at the time. That has many wondering what the next step for Johnson will be. According to the Liver King, he and his wife Barbara make over $100 million annually through their ancestral supplements and videos. His YouTube channel still has nearly 250,000 followers, and over 1 million are still following him on Instagram. There are still many who are clamoring for words from the Liver King. However, one has to wonder how long the port or adoration will last. Eventually, it is expected that some will forego their appreciation for Johnson's messages and teachings and turn to other options. That could lead to a significant decline in the amount of revenue that Barbara and Brian Johnson are earning. Then, there are the legal challenges that he faces. Clearly, his assertions about his ancestral eating pattern bringing about a physical transformation were a lie. He did not use his supplements as a sole means to improve his physique. There is no doubt the petitioners have a lawful claim against the Liver King for his fraudulent teachings. He could pay the $25 million or even more. The end of 2022 was a very disturbing one for a man who had transformed his life and overcome numerous challenges along the way. This may only be a minor blip in comparison to the challenges he will face in 2023. The demons are coming, and he will be running right for them.